And now, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
The first time I really got inspired was when John F. Kennedy talked about going to the moon.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal?
I was in elementary school. Everyone was glued to the TV.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Those words have always just rung in my ears. I can still hear it now. It was kind of funny. I never thought about being an astronaut. I was inspired to be in mission control, getting the data, processing it, live data coming down. I worked on the Galileo mission to Jupiter, the first one to get up close to all of the moons. Then I worked on the Cassini mission to Saturn. Cassini has changed everything we thought about that planet. That's what's always interesting about these missions of discovery. It turns our world upside down as far as our understanding. I think it gives us a perspective about ourselves. Where did we come from? Where are we going? Are we alone? Your place in this universe looks very small, but it's okay then, because there's no way you're going to be able to mean something to that entire universe. One day it was like, okay, I'm going to retire. All of that excitement, it was over. I thought, wow, now what happens? Dick and I, we wanted to start a family, but we were past the age of starting a family. I had seen a poster about Angels Foster Family Network that specialized in babies, and I thought, okay, do you ever have to give up on your dreams? I realized how many babies are in the foster care system. So there was a lot of questions. Can we do this? Do we have time? How much does this matter? We thought about going into it gradually, but it's really not my personality. Working at JPL, you felt like this could actually change our world. What does that mean to be this tiny speck? That perspective gives you inspiration about how we fit in this world. I can't change that whole world, but this can change the world of one person. And so we thought, why not now? It was life-changing. You don't think you're going to feel that way about some stranger's child. It was a sense of attachment that I didn't even know I had in me. You fight a little bit of this feeling like, well, you're the babysitter, but they are your kids. You are their world. When you see them looking at you as if they know you, that's when you feel, this is why I do this. It's gut-wrenching when you hand over this baby. It's like if you took your own baby and had to give it away. And they don't have to remember us. They don't have to know who we are or what we did for them. So why do we do it? Well, we do it because it's hard.
Such a profound message. We do it because it's hard. At Angels Foster Family Network, they don't shy away from that which is hard, because what drives them is knowing that it's the right thing to do, and that without their help, precious children would simply and invisibly slip through the cracks. Good evening, friends, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Dawn Marie, and I'm delighted to be your host for this short but important 30-minute virtual fundraiser. The story of foster parents Susan and Dick Kurtic from our opening documentary is so touching. I keep hearing Susan's words, "The children don't have to remember us. They don't have to know who we are or what we did for them." Friends, over the next half hour, we will have the opportunity to help children who may never know who we are and won't realize until they're older what we have done for them. Yet their lives will be forever changed by our generous gifts to Angels Tonight. Throughout this broadcast, I invite you to make contributions to Angels, and it's as easy as sending a text. To make a gift, simply text the word ANGELS to the number 80888. That's ANGELS to 80888. If you're not sure how to text a pledge, do what I do. Ask a nearby 9-year-old. Or you can call Suzanne McLean for technical support at the telephone number 619-567-0022, and Suzanne will happily walk you through it. Again, the number to call for assistance is 619-567-0022. Okay, so let's take a look at our thermometer and see what exciting things are happening there. Wow, we've already raised $11,563. That's amazing. We are off to a fantastic start. We want to thank Stephanie, whose gift just caused confetti to come up on our screens. This is incredibly exciting. Terry Horn has sent in a contribution of $500. Gretchen Gaynor just sent in $500. Scott and Michelle sent in $2,500. The thermometer is rising, the temperature is rising as we go. This is extraordinary. Friends, know this, whether the gift is $5, $500, $5,000, gifts of all sizes will help Angels rewrite the stories of foster children to a happily ever after. So let's keep those gifts rolling in as we turn the program over to Executive Director Jeff Weeman.
Hello and welcome to An Evening with Angels. My name is Jeff Weeman. As we begin our program, I would like to express my sincere thanks to everyone joining us tonight, and please know that I hope you and your family, friends, and colleagues are staying safe and healthy during these challenging times. I would also like to thank those of you who are on the front lines of the pandemic, from healthcare professionals to first responders, members of the military, and everyone else who is caring for those in need, ensuring we are safe, and keeping the infrastructure of our community operating. I want you to know the children in our care, our families, and staff are safe and thriving. Our greatest strength at Angels is all of us who are involved. The community of people who support us come from diverse and varied backgrounds and life experiences, yet all share the focus and commitment to doing what's best for the children in our care and the families who care for them. To our families, staff, board members, and supporters, I say thank you for all that you have done and continue to do for us. Over the next half hour, I look forward to sharing with you and celebrating our successes, bringing you up to date on the foster care system and the challenges we face. And lastly, asking for your help in raising the remaining $50,000 we have left to reach our goal of $400,000. Before we get started with the rest of the program, I'd like to take a short break to recognize and thank the generosity of our sponsors. Welcome back, and to everyone who has already made a financial gift in support of Angels, I say thank you. Your combined generosity has raised over $350,000, and we are just $50,000 away from replacing all the revenue we lost by the cancellation of our in-person event. Your contributions have been a lifeline to us, everyone has been impacted by the pandemic, and we are but one of an overwhelming number of worthy causes needing support. A little over a year ago at our event, I shared we were stuck as an organization. We were stuck because for the first time our challenge was having too many families interested in fostering, and we lacked the staff and the resources to handle all the applicants. I asked for your help in raising $420,000 that night. Raising this amount would serve as the catalyst needed to recruit, train, approve, and support more families and allow us to serve more children in need. That night I asked a lot, but I had to. I did it for the infants and toddlers we care for, but more importantly, I did it and continue to do it today for the ones we have to turn away. That night you met the challenge, but also greatly exceeded it by raising over $450,000. Your overwhelming generosity provided us the resources to go from 59 active families and an average of 43 children in care to 90 active families and 85 children in care. That's 98% growth, which is fantastic, but what's most important is that your generosity provided a safe, stable, loving home to 154 children in need. Now, when the pandemic arrived, none of us knew what to expect. Would our current families stop fostering? Would any new families be interested in fostering? Would we be able to train and support our families virtually? How is this all going to work? I have never been prouder, nor more inspired by everyone involved with Angels. From our families, to our staff, to our board of directors, to you, our supporters. We did not give up. We did not stop doing what we were doing. We embraced the uncertainty surrounding us, and for the last 5 months have accomplished more than ever before. In fact, we're getting ready for another round of growth as we anticipate adding 10 to 15 more families in the next 2 to 3 months. For the first time in our 20-year history, we may be forced to turn away children in need not because we lack available families, but because we lack the staff to support the families we have. This is why any funds raised tonight above our goal will help support our efforts to be able to place children with all the families we have available. We need as many available families as possible because the need continues to grow. The harsh truth of the matter is, the number of children suffering from abuse and neglect is increasing. It was increasing before the pandemic, and the added stress, anxiety, and uncertainty we all are feeling is only making it worse. The children now coming into our care have the highest needs we have ever seen. They have experienced more trauma, need more support, more attention, more patience, and more love. Sadly, they're also showing signs of more physical abuse and neglect. We also fully anticipate a surge in cases when we can safely reopen our communities, as those mandated to report child abuse and neglect will once again be interacting in person with children. I know it's hard to know and understand these facts, but what keeps me going is knowing that all of us are in this together, and with your support, Angels will have the resources to provide families to the children who need it most. Next up is a short video about a father, his 3 girls, and our amazing family that worked with them over a 2-year period to bring them back together.
Before we meet our next Angels family, here's a quick update. We are approaching $17,000. As Jeff said, we are all in this together. And thanks to our good friend Elizabeth Cruz just sent in a $100 contribution. Suzanne Barone sent in a $100 gift. John Taylor, thank you for your gift of $250. Carrie Bell sent in $50. We have several anonymous contributions rolling in as well. When you text your pledge and receive a text back, be sure to complete that process so that your name will appear up on our screen as well so that we can thank you. Sherry Severson also sent in a contribution of $250. I'm going to apologize now if I mispronounce anybody's name. Know this, I love all of what you are doing for Angels Foster Family Network right now. My friends, we are nearly halfway through our broadcast already. The sands of time are slipping through the hourglass. So please text ANGELS to 80888 and remember that every gift counts. Now, sit back and enjoy this next inspiring story.
I have 3 daughters, Athena, who is 7, Amelia, who is 4, and Adeline, who is 3. My ex had taken my middle daughter, Amelia, to the doctors. I guess she wasn't feeling well, but then they had found a small bruise on her abdomen and her inner thigh, which they were in suspicion was related to child abuse. So therefore, I was told that I wasn't able to come back home. We actually had court the very next day. And in that court meeting was, yes, your girls have been removed from the home. 2 have been placed in Polinsky Center. 1 has been placed in foster home. That made me honestly feel like I was a loser.
I'm Angela Landis, and this is my husband, Nate Landis, and we have been fostering through Angels since 2017, November. And we had the Hurley kids. They were our first placement, and we got them actually one at a time. We didn't get them all 3 at once. We got Amelia in November, and then a couple months later in January, we got Athena. She was 5 at the time. And then a couple months later after that, in June, we got Addie, their youngest.
How I felt about the Landises at first, I mean, I think it's just about how anyone would feel when their children are with strangers. You know, we don't know them, and we don't know how they live or what they do. And then when I actually met her and saw her attitude and the way she went about things and how she handled things with my daughters, how she handled things with her own kids even, and knowing that she had kids of her own, it made me very relieved and made me a lot more trusting. That's when everything pretty much started becoming, you know, like family. Like, you know, my girls call her Mama Ange, and, you know, or Daddy Nate.
We learned that single dads face longer odds, and it's rare for a single dad to get their kids back through reunification. If a single parent usually does that, it's the mom, not the dad in the equation. So that's what impressed me, that he was willing to stick it out and do whatever it took to get them back and make amends.
There's a guy that really wants his kids and is fighting for them and is doing anything, walks in the rain, showing up wherever on a bus. He had to take the transit everywhere. I would show up in my car, and he's like traveled for hours to get to his visits.
I had to jump through every loop that they told me to jump through. I actually officially had them back in my home on April 1st of 2019. It finally hit me to where, like, this may have taken 2 years, but it was all worth it.
I think the story really does have one of those happy endings, because I know being a kid who doesn't have a parent that wants them and loves them or can't be with them is just devastating, and all the other variables and all the other situational components don't matter as much as can you be with someone that loves you, who is your own. And I think that's what Angels provides, and that's what we really got to be a part of.
Angels is amazing, and they have very good judgment, and the foster homes that they put these kids into, they care. They want you to be reunified with your kids.
That, my friends, is how Angels does it. And that is what you are making possible with your gifts tonight. The good that Angels does is undeniable. The way in which they do it is both unique and wonderful. Jeff, please share with our friends at home what makes Angels so unique.
Thank you, Dawn Marie. Angels is unique as a foster agency in that we focus solely on children 5 and younger. And 40% of the kids in foster care are 5 and younger. We place only 1 child or sibling set with each family, and each family commits to the stability of care of that child until the court or the county decides otherwise. What that all results in is 93% of the kids that come into our care achieve permanency, meaning they go back to their family or they go to an adoptive family, and that's incredible.
That is incredible, Jeff, and what an amazing difference that you all make. 93% of children arriving in a stable home, whether it's reunified say that 10 times fast, with their biological parents or in a stable, adopted, loving home. As a child who grew up in the foster care system and was adopted, I understand personally just how important it is when someone steps into the void and helps to support a foster child. Jeff, why don't we check in on our thermometer and check our progress, because I'm getting kind of blown away here. Look at this. We're almost in $20,000.
I know, it's incredible, and it makes me worried as a father when I see my kids show up on the tote board. I'm wondering whose phone they're texting from, because it's okay for all you guys out there, no kid restraint on texting. It's okay, let them text.
Absolutely. We want to thank Kristen Batt for her $500 contribution. Charlie Lucchini, $1,000. Thank you so much. Stacy Fisk. Leslie Gladstone. Now, Leslie Gladstone, wasn't she a board?
Leslie is a former Angels foster parent. She's a former board member and former chair of our board, and just wonderful. So thank you, Leslie.
It's wonderful to see so many familiar faces of Angels, friends and family coming up, especially your family members, Jeff.
I'm waiting for the family pets to come up, so I'm not sure what's going to happen next.
Well, you better keep your eye on that screen. And friends, you should keep texting those gifts and keep those gifts coming in by texting ANGELS to 80888. And as you continue sending in your gifts, I'm sending a special shout out to Angels Ambassador Gracie Howard, who I know is watching at home with her wonderful family. Hi, Gracie. Now, friends, let's continue our visit with Nate and Angela Landis.
With me now is Nate and Angela Landis. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for, sharing your experiences about fostering. How's Chris and the girls doing? What can you share? What's happening now? Because it's been, over a year?
They're doing well. They're in Pennsylvania, as I think you've heard, and they're out in this no man's land of Pennsylvania, no reception. So I only hear from Chris when he gets to work, and then he finally gets my text and how is everybody doing? And he'll text me, everybody's great, and they're doing well. I get pictures of them. I got a picture of them with their dad at the park, and they all look really well and happy. And
I think they're happy to be together and have
sure.
this semblance of normalcy. And we've said if they forget about us, that's okay. Obviously, we'd love to stay connected.
Yeah.
We want to be available to them. But if this was a moment in their life to be a springboard for the rest of life, then that's what we're hoping to accomplish. And it sounds like that's where they're headed.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, up until the point that they left San Diego, how are you guys interacting, supporting them during that time from the reunification until they left?
Chris and I had a good conversation before he left, and I just said, I want you to know that if there is awkwardness for us to be in your life at all, I would feel awkward. I would get that. So if you, when you're ready to let us go, you're not going to hurt us.
This time at the park right before they moved, we all got together and our kids got to say goodbye. And I bought everybody ice cream, and we had this just messy party of sending them off and blessing them and just loving them. And it was really a celebration because we could see that the process had run its course. It wasn't like we're done being in their lives, but our role of getting them, from one side of the canyon to the other as a bridge, that part was done. And then we can just walk with them after that as they're able and interested in doing so.
What did it feel like the day you found out that they were going to return to Chris for sure?
Honestly, I was really excited. I was, that progression as we kept seeing Chris step up and do what he was supposed to do. And as we kept seeing the kids just kind of unravel the trauma and start to reconnect with their dad in a whole new way, it was like we could trust the process of them getting back together and then being able to really root for it.
I felt relieved.
You felt relieved?
Just because I knew that's what everybody wanted. And that was what Chris and the girls were really hoping for and working daily for. There was an emotional sense of missing them, but the bigger part of the story was such a win that I think we felt good about it. We were a part of a story that had a happy ending, and we were privileged to have one of those fairy tale reunification stories.
Yeah. What's grown in you guys and what's grown in your kids from this experience?
The experience I would take more pride in than anything else. To think that we did that, with obviously with the help of so many people, angels and our church family, our family, God, each other. But it's something that like literally activates every resource you have built in your life of relationships. And I have a photo book of the year that we had together, and I'm thankful that the brain, when you do experience trauma, you are able to forget after time a lot of the intensity of that trauma. And to foster itself is very traumatic because you're taking on the trauma of a whole other family, and you really can't help but have it affect you. And trauma, you enter into that trauma. And as hard as I remember that it was, it's really overshadowed by all the love and the impact that you get to make, that you have the opportunity to make. And whether the kids get to go back in a fairy tale ending, or whether, they have just one memory of a family that loved them and that was in their corner and praying for them and sacrificing everything for them, you can go with that hope that will make a positive impact on them in their future.
It's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I've been through some unusually hard things in my life. But nothing worth doing is easy, and nothing that lasts doesn't have sacrifice attached to it. And so, like Angela was saying, when I look back, it was worth every late night and every situation that was hard to explain, every emotional tension, awkwardness, what you name it. When you bundle it all up together and you see the changed life, it's all worth it. And I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
Well, I would like to thank you for everything that you've done and continue to do for kids and children in our community in need. I appreciate our friendship. I appreciate your support from Angels. I love this relationship. I've loved the fact that we spent some time together today. So really appreciate it, and thank you. Next up, I'd like to hand things over to Dawn Marie Katsanis. I think many of you remember her as our wonderful MC and auctioneer. Dawn Marie, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Jeff. Friends, a child in the foster care system does not have the luxury of writing the beginning of their story. Those first few chapters are often characterized by traumatic events that, without skilled and selfless intervention, can quickly spiral into a sad and frightening narrative. But with our financial support tonight, Angels Foster Families change the trajectory of children's lives, rewriting the rest of their life stories to a happily ever after. I've been so deeply touched by the generous gifts that started pouring in as soon as Jeff and Suzanne began pivoting to a virtual event. To think that we began tonight's broadcast with only $50,000 left to raise in order to replace the $400,000 of lost revenue caused by the cancellation of our in-person event this year, well, that just warms my heart. And we are now within $25,000 of achieving that goal. We are at the halfway mark, my friends, meaning that the life stories of so many more precious children are being rewritten tonight because of you. If you've not yet done so, please text ANGELS to 80888. It's going to feel great to know that you helped create a happily ever after for a child. And if you've already made a gift, by all means, feel free to text again, because we are at the halfway mark and we want to thank a few folks for making their contributions and pledges. Jeff, why don't you call out a few of our friends, and any more family members of yours make contributions in the last few minutes?
Yeah, I'm a little worried right now because my pets are showing up in the list and it's been a little bit crazy. So if you see the name Shadow or Blackberry, those are our family cats. I'm waiting to see the family dog. But, we've got several of our resource families, foster families in the list. Thank you so much for not only caring for the children that get placed with us and placed in your homes, but also making a contribution in support of Angels. Simply wonderful. Thank you.
You know, at our live event each year, I'm always touched by the fostering families that make financial contributions as well. As Jeff said a moment ago, not only these beautiful families open their homes and make the commitment to help children, but then they come to our fundraisers and make wonderful financial contributions to help other families become foster families as well. Since I was first introduced to Angels by my dear friends, Brian and Adriana Scott, I've been touched by Angels' dedication and tenacity. Angels continues to rise to whatever challenges they face, thanks to great leadership and staff, a dedicated board, and the unfailing support of friends like you. In recent years, Angels has faced unprecedented challenges, yet nothing has stopped them from saving these kids. Not even a pandemic. They, along with their foster families, are superheroes without capes, angels with invisible wings. Thank you for making what they do possible with your generous contributions. Let's take a look. We are at $24,963, my friends. Stacy Fisk, thank you for your contribution. I see several anonymous contributions coming in as well. Thank you for your humility and also your generosity. For those of you that have texted a pledge and not yet clicked to complete your gift, please do so now. Every gift counts, from $5 to $5,000 to $50,000. And let me say this, my friends, if we surpass tonight's goal, this could actually turn out to be Angels Foster Family Network's record-breaking year. Who knows? We might even hit $500,000 in total by the time we're finished with tonight. So we are at $24,963. Lanny Barnes, thank you for your contribution. Blackberry Weeman, Jeff's cat. Oh, very good. I think Jeff's kids are very active. Beth Muncie, thank you so much for your gift of $50. Elizabeth Cruz, thank you for your contribution of $100. Jeff, how are you feeling right now, seeing all of this?
I'm a little worried about what's going on at home, but I'll take care of that or figure that out when I get home. Honestly, before tonight, and right now I'm really excited to see the progress and everything we've been able to do, but I'm also sad. I'm sad that we're not able to all get together and do this in person because it's so much fun to see everybody, to interact, and to share in the joy of this event. We're just having to have to do that virtually now. And my sadness is quickly melting away as the $25,000 as we broach that barrier and as we go on to $50,000. So let's keep it going.
Indeed, my friends, let's keep it going because Angels Foster Family Network is absolutely reliant upon our financial contributions to continue to show up every day and do the good that they do every single day. I love this cause, and I love all of you for supporting it. It can sometimes feel that there's a shortage of decency in the world, but there is so much goodness in all of you. You are kind, decent, loving people who are literally changing the lives of so many children in this very moment. And the effect of your goodness will last forever. So let's take a look at the screen and thank Joy Singleton. Oh my goodness, amazing. In these final moments that we have together, please text Angels to 80888 one last time and save one more child.
Don Marie, when you were talking about decency, I need to give a shout out to Tom Grant and the entire Grant family. Tom surprised us with an extraordinary gift this year that just really was a lifeline to us being able to survive the pandemic and losing our in-person event. The Grant family, and in particular Tom, has been a stalwart contributor to Angels, and I thank you. There is no finer man, there is no finer family than the Grant family, so thank you.
Indeed, the Grant family continues to come through in the most amazing ways, year in and year out. We are so very grateful for your continued support. My friends, you are making the most tremendous impact, every single one of you, and we are so grateful for your gifts and your support. Kenneth Patrick just sent in a contribution of $500. Perry Turnbull, thank you so much for your gift. My friends, we are only halfway there, and let's keep this going because we have so many more children to help. And Jeff, I shudder to even ask this question, but do you guys ever find yourselves in a position where you have a waiting list of children that need your services and intervention, and you simply don't have the financial capability to help?
That often happens, Dawn Marie. We typically only are able to place about a third of the children that need our families. Through your generous support, we've been able to grow that capacity, as you learned earlier in the video. We are basically coming up on the opportunity here that we have families that are ready, but we don't have the staff to be able to support them. So that's why tonight's contributions will help us in that effort. And what I'd like to say to you as well is that the children that need our help can't do it without our families. Our families can't do it without Angels. And we at Angels can't do it without your support. It's really all of us working together, even during this pandemic, to make a difference in these children's lives that need it the most. So thank you for what you've done so far. Please continue to follow the Tote Board and make contributions, because every dollar that comes into us goes directly in support of one of our families, our ability to recruit more families, and the children in our care.
Indeed, we are at $26,068. Chris and Kim Murphy, thank you so much for your contribution. Paige Hoffman just sent in a gift of $200. Thank you so much, Paige. Laura Kurth, $75. Thank you for your contribution. We've passed the $26,000 mark, my friends. Please keep those gifts coming in. Text to pledge. If you are having any difficulty at all texting a pledge, the number that I gave you earlier, you can also call Suzanne McLean to make a contribution by phone as well. I know that some of you prefer to do it the old-fashioned way, just like this dinosaur up here. But know this, my friends, regardless of the way in which you make your gift and your contributions cumulatively and individually are going to make such a difference tonight and for years to come for each of our children. We are on our way to $29,000. We are at $28,568. I would love to see Joy Singleton sent in a contribution of $5,000. Joy, thank you so much for your contributions. Lonnie Barnes, $100. Thank you so very much for your contribution. The Kaltenbach family sent in a gift of $50. Thank you so very much to the Kaltenbach family. Jules De La Cruz sent in a contribution of $50. Thank you, Jules. Walter Nelson, thank you so much for your contribution of $25. My friends, every single gift is going to help us to hit our goal. The important thing is that each of us contributes what we can in this moment so that Angels Foster Family Network can fulfill the commitments to all of the children that they have in their care at this moment in time. I can't imagine how difficult it must be for a staff as committed as Jeff Weeman and his staff to ever have to turn a child in need away simply for a lack of funding. We are on our way to the $30,000 mark. I would love to see somebody call in a contribution of $1,200 and get us to the $30,000 mark right now. Incredible. You folks are amazing, and your contributions are so generous and so very much appreciated. We are just about going to wrap up our half hour, and so before we do that, I'd like to just touch base with Jeff again for a moment and see if there are some folks on the board that he in particular would like to recognize.
Thank you, Dawn Marie. In closing tonight, what I'd really like to say thank you for is that when the pandemic hit, our families and our staff leaned into the uncertainty. They didn't give up. They didn't say that they couldn't do it. It was, what does everybody need to care for these kids during this time of crisis? I'm very thankful for everybody who's been supporting us, and you leaned in behind us. And having this financial support, having to be able to raise almost $380,000 to replace the $400,000 that we lost is just incredible. We've got several board members, several families of our foster families that have given tonight, and I say thank you. Please keep it going. Even though we will end our broadcast here in a little bit, you can still text to give. The need is still there. And I would just again like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Indeed. My friends, thank you so much for every contribution. You have helped us get so close to this total of $400,000. To think that when the pandemic hit and this event was to have been canceled, I can't imagine the impact, the devastating impact that would have had on Angels. But thanks to your contributions sent in advance of tonight's broadcast and kind of culminating with tonight's broadcast, we are just about at $380,000. That's amazing, my friends. I want to invite you, even as you continue to watch, share this broadcast. We'll send you a link after the broadcast. I invite you to share that link with friends who were unable to join us tonight. It has been such an exciting half hour with you, and we are so grateful to you for sharing this time with us. Thank you so much for your generous gifts and contributions. And as we close tonight's program, I ask you to please pause for a moment and imagine the joyful sound of a child's laughter. Because that, in its simplest form, is what you have made possible tonight by your gifts and support of Angels Foster Family Network. My friends, thank you so much for helping us get so far down this road that seemed so daunting at the beginning. We are so very grateful and will remain so for all of your goodness and generosity. Until we meet again, I wish you good health, I wish you good cheer, and I extend heartfelt gratitude from our entire Angels Foster Family Network. Thank you and good night.